We don't have the 2023 stats yet, but 2022, the miners produced about 850 million ounces of silver worldwide, and we consumed as a human race 1.2 billion ounces of silver, creating the largest deficit ever in recorded history. 2023, we're going to be producing the same amount of silver, 850 million ounces of silver, because the miners can't produce anymore. We're at our limit, and yet consumption is anticipated to be around 1.4 billion ounces this year. One of my biggest struggles is really in educating people on the importance of silver. Right from the beginning, I keep hearing silver's a poor man's gold, and quite honestly, it's not. Gold is gold. Gold is money, and I think people should own gold. It's the granddaddy of all currency. But silver is a very unique metal, very misunderstood metal, and I look at it as a strategic metal, meaning that this call we're doing today, and virtually everything that everyone does on the planet on throughout the day, through their 24-hour day, requires silver in some form. And what I mean by that is we don't realize, or I realize, of course, but many people out there don't realize that everything in their home, all their appliances, the electrical systems in their homes, your automobile, all your technology, all the devices that you rely on a daily basis, all have some silver in it. Well, there's not that many silver companies out there, and we could build our gold portfolio quite easily. If I wanted to go buy a gold mine tomorrow, there's a list of gold mines that are available for sale, and we could build up our portfolio of gold mines and then become a gold company. Many mining companies get frustrated because they started their business many years ago, and I don't want to name names, but there's your listeners probably know the companies out there that call themselves silver companies, yet most of them, well, all of them but First Majestic, produce much less than 50% of their revenue from the sale of silver, and they're more some of them are base metal companies selling zinc and lead, and yes, they sell some silver, but maybe 20% of the revenues are from silver. We're in a unique spot. We're over 50% of our revenues from the sale of silver. The other metal we sell is gold. We just sell two metals, silver and gold, and we're happy doing it. We're love to expand our silver portfolio, and we're always looking around the world for the next silver mine to buy, but they're just very hard to find. One of the things your listeners should know is that if you look at the mining ratio, which some people say, oh, it doesn't matter, but I think it hugely matters, because we're trading at about 85-1. So what that means is for gold prices at 1950, divide that by the silver price, and you come up with about 85. Yet, mining wise, we're only mining 7-1. So for every 1 ounce of gold being mined worldwide, the mining sector is only mining 1 ounce of silver. That tells you that silver is much rarer than the market is pricing in. And that's where I think the big change is going to occur. And I think, the Reddit crowd helped bring some education in the marketplace. And since that whole Reddit squeeze, the sales of silver has increased fairly dramatically because people are waking up to the supply-demand fundamentals of this very, very important metal. Supply-demand fundamentals actually drove price, but it doesn't. The consumption of silver, since I put the company together back in 2002, has grown substantially. We had silver go from $5 when I put the company together to $50 in 2011, and from 2011 it went all the way down to 12 in 2015, and then it fluctuated between really 14 to 18 for the next few years, and it didn't get back into the 20s until the last couple of years. And we had 27 a few months ago, and now we're back at around 23 or 24. And again, I said earlier, there's a record deficit of silver right now. There was a deficit last year of 250 million ounces. There's a deficit this year of over 400 million ounces. The deficit this current year, I should say, is likely going to be higher. We don't know the number, but call it 500 million ounces. So how do these deficits not affect price? The reason why it doesn't affect price is because we price our metal on paper markets, and the banks move the paper markets around at will, and as miners, we don't have control over price. Yeah, there's about 1 billion ounces of silver trades per day in the paper markets. And the mining sector produces 850 million ounces per year. So, that's a lot of leverage. And in my view, it will break because I think, the physical market is very important. And, if these banks can't ultimately find the silver to cover their contracts, and, people ask for deliveries, and, we see people asking for more and more deliveries off the COMEX. We see the warehouse supplies dwindling. We're seeing less of the games that we used to see, with JP Morgan lawsuits and the other banks who have been implicated, in some of the, nefarious type of trading, spoof trading, and so on and so forth that's gone on, in the paper markets, not in silver, but markets right across the board, whether it's stocks or other commodities or interest rates or what have you. These banks, take advantage of markets when they can, and that's their job, I suppose. They're trying to make money on the markets, but when it crosses the line, to manipulating price, because they're offside in a trade and they're trying to, get others to make trades for their advantage, then you can start to say, okay, well, there's real manipulation going on, and that's why we've seen some of these lawsuits. So I am quite optimistic that we are getting into a better marketplace whereby we will be seeing less of these, big banks getting, involved in some of these, enormous short, trades and short squeezes and so on. And I think that eventually, the miners will, get a better price for their metal, and that's why, I'm the first to say, triple-digit silver. And I came up with that phrase, I don't know how many years ago now, over 5 years ago, and I've seen others now copy it, and so I think people are realizing that, hey, this metal is very, very critical, and it is mispriced, and people are coming into this market and buying this metal. And I'm more convinced today than I ever have been that we're going to see triple digits.